Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Karen's letting the dogs in or out or both, whichever is funnier. And then she'll be down in a second. So normally I stream on Wednesday, and I don't stream on Thursday, but we were busy yesterday. So we're streaming today instead of yesterday. And yesterday is Wednesday. Wednesdays I do a year of my best games from my chess. And we've done 1990, 91, and 92, and we're doing 93 today. However, we have a special game we're going to look at that was played today in Qatar between 2500 GM you've never heard of and Magnus. And it's a controversial game, which I will explain when Karen gets here. Hamish W27 subscribed. Yay, thanks for the support. Go Hamish. Sorry9 subscribed. Yay, thanks for the support. A hype train is close. The guy that actually beat Magnus today is here watching the stream. And I asked him, you watch my stream? And he says, I set my watch to it. So he's always watching my stream. Yay, go Kangaroo. Yay, Sorry9 gifted a sub. Go Sorry9. Go hype train, even though there's no hype train yet. I'm still rooting for it. Yeah, and I want to watch the Braves game at 8, but we'll be streaming then. So I'll probably miss the first 2 innings. The Braves are in a must-win game. They're down 2-1. And I saw yesterday the Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers. Somewhat surprising. There's just the right amount of cheating. Yay, Pew Lalive, or Lalive, or Pew. Anyway, thanks for the sub. Mon français, c'est pas bon. I've forgotten more French than most of you speak. Yay, level 2. That's the highest level we've ever had. Go Braves is correct. Untitled Tuesday. Such a tournament exists. It has even more cheating than Title Tuesday. That's amazing. Karen's making herself all pretty, I assume. There she is. Hey.
Sorry, it took me a minute to get the OB in.
Uh-huh. It's
How's
Karen.
everybody doing? Hey, Kangaroo.
Most epic.
Sorry, my phone likes to. So which thing? Oh, you've got Magnus's game up first.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was a game played today in Qatar, and it seems like Magnus's opponent was a Qatar hero because he beat Magnus pretty handily. His rating is 25-12 FIDE. Suleimanov is his name. And after the game, Magnus went to what used to be called Twitter and complained not about his opponent. He said, "Congrats to my opponent, and I'm not accusing him of cheating." And then he said, "But when at some point in the game early on, he noticed the guy was wearing a watch, which Magnus thought was illegal, and went to the arbiter, and the arbiter said, no, if it's a mechanical watch, that's okay. If it's a smart watch, that's illegal." Now, it seems like in top tournaments, which you could argue whether this is a top tournament, it's an open tournament, they don't allow any watches because mechanical watches can also give you chess moves. You can have Bluetooth on them and such. And I've read something about it. So you can have a watch that looks like a mechanical watch, but if you want to cheat with it, you can. You just have to modify it a little bit. So probably they should ban all watches. But Magnus claims when he saw the guy wearing a watch, it made him feel in such a way that he wasn't able to concentrate on the game fully because he was worried about the watch. And then he played badly as a consequence and lost the game. And Hikaru, of course, likes to get clicks. So he wrote that Magnus accused his opponent of cheating, and let's look at that. But okay, and then Magnus is like, "I didn't accuse my opponent of cheating. I know you like to use my name for clicks." So that was funny. But anyway, Magnus hasn't accused his opponent of anything, but he wonders if one of the main complaints, which Magnus also pointed out, which to me is bad, is spectators are allowed to have smartphones in the tournament room. That sounds completely illegal. And when we go to tournaments, FIDE rated tournaments, can have smartphones in the tournament room. But it seems like they're a little lax at this tournament. Also, the games, Magnus also said the games are shown live. There's no delay. So with smartphones in the room and no delay and people allowed to wear watches, there could be some more cheating than usual. Okay, when that's saying something. And Magnus didn't say his opponent cheated, but he's not the one that's going to decide that. Karen and I are the ones who are going to decide that. Because we're going to look at the game, I'm going to use an engine to analyze, and I'm going to see like what my opinion is. Because I looked at the game briefly without an engine, and Magnus just got rolled over. Magnus got beat like he was 2,500, the other guy was 2,850. He got beat really badly. It wasn't like it was equal and Magnus hung a rook. That's how I would beat Magnus. Okay, then I would barely win up a rook because I'm barely a GM. But this guy just beat Magnus like it was easy. Like, Magnus no good. Okay, typically, Magnus doesn't lose to players rated 25-12 for the most part because he doesn't play players who are 25-12. To put that in context, my peak rating was 25-63 for FIDE. So that I'm not beating Magnus anytime soon. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe not today though. I'm busy today. We're streaming and stuff. Thanks for all this support, everybody. So to reiterate, Magnus did not accuse his opponent of cheating, but Magnus isn't a fan of the tournament rules, which allow watches that are not smart watches. It allows cell phones in the room for spectators, which it's not good. And there's no delay on the broadcast of the games. So probably, since this is a tournament with a lot of super GMs, they should have better restrictions on allowing people to cheat. Since it's an open tournament, it's more likely there's going to be cheating here than if it was like a super GM tournament with 10 top players. This has a mix of players, 2,300, 2,200, 2,100. There's all kinds of players. And for example, Fedoseev, who's 2,700 FIDE, he has 0 out of 2 against the 2,400 to 2,200 because kids are good nowadays. I assume they're kids, but I don't know. Could have lost to adults for all I know. Anyway, we're going to analyze the game, and then we're going to decide whether his opponent cheated. Whatever we decide, that's fact, and FIDE is going to go by it. FIDE is going to decide, based on this stream, whether his opponent cheated or not.
I mean, I'm not going to know based on looking at the chess, but I can go look, at the video from the tournament.
Are you watching as in the U.S. Championship? Ugh, talk about a non sequitur. Okay, so here's the game. Magnus has black. It already seems pretty clear he's cheating. D4. Oh my God, what a strong move. Okay, C4, knight F3. Magnus played the Queen's Indian. The Queen's Indian was popular before Magnus was born. Then when Magnus was born, it wasn't popular anymore. Now for $1 trillion, because we didn't win the lottery, so I have to get $1 trillion somehow. What year was Magnus born?
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to guess because it's $1 trillion if you guess right.
Okay, 1991.
Very close. We only get $1 million. 1990.
90.
Yeah. As soon as people look it up on the internet, then they can say 1990. Yeah. Okay, so the Queen's Indian isn't very popular anymore, and it's not going to get more popular after this game. Oh, snap. Okay, so in this position, White played a move that was popularized by Tigran Petrosian and later Garry Kasparov. What move is that? I'll give you as many guesses as you want.
Okay, so...
It's not a move a player of your level would even consider.
Right.
It's funny because Petrosian was a very boring player and Kasparov was a very exciting player, and they played the same move here.
I don't know. Bishop G5.
Bishop G5 is a good move. Knight C3 is a good move. G3 is a good move. E3 is okay. He played the move A3. That's what Kasparov used to play and beat everybody. Then he played a match with Korchnoi in 1984, and Korchnoi beat him with black in the first game. Okay, so you can play Bishop B7 or Bishop to A6. Also, G6 is a move which I've played, but that's a different story. Okay, he played Bishop A6, attacking the pawn on C4. Then he played Queen C2, defending the pawn. Now it's hard for White to play Knight C3 because that blocks the defense. Okay. All right. So Black played Bishop B7. Now that the bishop has done its job on A6, forcing the queen to C2, Black wants to play C5 and make sure the queen is off of it. So this is one of the main moves. But this line was popular in the 80s before Carlsen was born. So I'm surprised he's playing this line. Okay, Knight C3, C5, E4. If you play D5 now, it's a pawn sacrifice because the queen's not on D1. If the queen was on D1, White would definitely play D5. No question about it. Okay, so he played E4, C takes D4, Knight takes D4, and Black has sort of a hedgehog structure, although he did play Bishop C5. Typically in the hedgehog, the bishop goes to E7. Okay, White played Knight F3, always play Knight F3, Knight C6. The engine says White is very slightly better. B4, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to E7. And we have a raid from Anna Cramling.
Yay. Thank you, Anna.
Go, Anna. But stay there. Everybody do a shout out to Anna.
Yay.
Even if you're not a mod, do it anyway. I hope you had a good stream, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Go Raiders. We're looking at Magnus's game today, which has some controversy. Then we're going to look at some of my games, which have no controversy. Okay, so Magnus's opponent played Bishop B2. That's actually his name, Magnus's opponent. Queen B8, controlling the E5 square. And this long diagonal. Very suspicious move. Okay, White played Rook D1. This is the #1 move on Stockfish, although I have it at depth 24, so it doesn't matter. Okay, reasonable move. Castles, Bishop E2, obvious move. D6, Castles is an obvious move. And Rook C8. So this is funny when I played queen b8 in one of my hedgehogs with the idea of playing bishop here and here and getting on this diagonal, it was bad because my rook was trapped on a8. And here the engine agrees that this isn't the best way for black to play. Black's rook is trapped on a8. Black is very solid and passive, but that's not typically Magnus's style. Magnus, I think, was getting his opponent out of his prep. So just play something a little unusual and then outplay him in a long positional game. Okay, now in this position, my stockfish doesn't give this move at all. It says h3 is the best move, queen b3. It's giving boring moves. And speaking of boring, white played rook fe1. Very human move.
And I just want to say thanks, GM Smurfette, for the sub.
Yay.
Good to see you too.
Go Smurfette.
Yay.
Okay, Magnus played bishop f8. Following the rule, always play bishop f8. Okay, now speaking of my rule, always play bishop f8, let's ask Karen, based on my rules, what did white play here? Remember, Magnus played bishop f8. That's right, bishop f1. Proving he didn't cheat because he played bishop f1. He just follows my rules. That's all. Okay, so far white has a slight advantage and nothing weird is happening. Now Magnus played a super passive move. The engine wants to play knight e5, putting pressure on c4. Magnus played knight e7. Okay, very passive move. And this undefends the pawn on d6. See, it was defended by the bishop, now it's not. However, we can't take the pawn because queen takes rook. So he threatened the pawn, making the engine move knight to b5, attacking the pawn. Not very suspicious. Okay, Magnus, instead of playing the obvious move, knight to g6. If I was playing a blitz game, I would like pre-move knight g6. Because that's why I played knight e7, and then the bishop on f8 defends the d6 pawn. So I mean, like, I'm playing knight g6 all day, the engine plays knight g6. I wouldn't even consider another move. Magnus played another move, knight e8. Boo, boo, too passive. Okay, and also he's getting his knight away from his king, so now white has a winning attack. So knight e8 is actually the losing move. This is actually quite a bad move. Okay, in fact, I don't understand why he didn't play knight g6. Why did he play knight e7? Where was the knight going? It was on c6. He's going to g6. Now, it could be Magnus had no interest in knight g6, and Magnus wanted to play d5. And so he wanted to unleash the latent potential of his rook, as opposed to the actualized potential. Okay, so Magnus played knight e8, and his opponent played a very aggressive move recommended by the engine. What move would that be? Very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Let's see. Man, the dogs have just been going at it. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so the answer to what he played is knight g5. Okay, now this move in itself is suspicious to me, not because it's the best move and the engine recommends it. I don't care about that. Okay, the reason it's suspicious is if black plays the obvious move, what's the obvious move here for black? I think you're going to say the move I'm thinking of.
h6.
Correct.
Get out of here.
Now, if white plays knight f3 or knight h3, then knight g5 doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's why I dismissed that.
The engine move is to play knight takes f7.
Oh.
And then after king takes f7, e5 with a crushing attack. But as a human, that wouldn't occur to me, that this is winning for white. Like, I don't even see the attack.
I don't either. I mean,
I guess after pawn takes pawn, there's bishop takes and the queen's trapped. And pawn takes pawn is strong. But this seems difficult for a human to figure out. You sack a piece, you play e5, then you have this crushing attack. So knight g5 is a suspicious move because after h6, he's definitely going to play knight takes f7. He's not going to play knight f3 or knight h3. Then he wouldn't have played knight g5. So here he already foresaw that he was going to do something aggressive. Okay, it turns out h6 is the best move. But Magnus played knight g6, the second best move. And once again, the guy played a suspicious move. It's the engine move, but it's not a move humans would think of very much. It's pretty non-human, in my opinion. Okay, he played the move e5. Okay, so I guess the idea is, you know, now that I think of it, e5 is more reasonable than knight g5. If he takes on e4, he takes with the knight, you get mated. So that's easy to see.
Yeah.
Takes with the pawn, I guess I play bishop takes e5, and you're in trouble because you can't take with the knight because it's still mate. So actually e5 I think is very reasonable. I think a normal GM would play e5 because you can't take with the knight or the pawn, and your queen is opened, sort of the reason for knight g5. Okay, so Magnus played d5, which is the second or third engine move. Okay, now white played a move I probably wouldn't consider. And if it's the top engine move, I'm suspicious. Right now, it's the second engine move. Although the top engine move is also a little strange. The top engine move is f4. If you play knight takes f4, you still get mated. And the idea is just to, you know, get more space on the king side. Okay. His opponent played a move that's second best, not as good as f4, according to this engine. And that move is queen b3. Now, queen b3 does get off of this file, but it's a little weird because your queen was good here.
Yeah.
But okay, queen b3 I would consider like for safety reasons to stop this pin. Okay, Magnus played bishop e7, and now white played an amazing move, which is by far the best move. Again, if I'm playing in a slow tournament, I can't imagine myself playing this move. I wouldn't do it. Okay, he played knight takes f7. And the engine says it's correct, so it's correct. But what? Okay, so he played king takes f7. White played c takes d5, which I understand. I understand white's moves. That makes sense. Okay, and Magnus played bishop takes d5, which makes sense. You have to play rook takes d5 to keep attacking. That makes sense to me. So rook takes d5. And when he played knight takes f7, he must have seen this position. King f8's the only legal move. And this is just crushing for white, even though white's down a rook. Typically, people don't sack a rook and just run over Magnus, like a computer would, but a human wouldn't do that typically.
Right.
Okay, so here it says white has several good moves, and he played the best move. This move seems very reasonable to me. Played knight d4 to play knight e6 check. That seems very logical to me. Okay, Magnus played knight f4. That's the engine move. Okay, and here white has many good moves. His queen's attacked. So he played queen f3. That's very logical. Okay, king g8. He obviously took the knight on f4. And now white's winning. White has an attack, and white has a knight, a bishop, and 2 pawns for a rook. So white's like ahead material and has a big attack. Magnus played a bad move, queen b7. White played knife f5, which is not an engine move. So maybe the guy just follows what I do. He plays bishop f1, knife f5.
Yeah.
Maybe he just plays like me. Okay, the engine doesn't give knight f5 at all. It says bishop d3 is the best move. It says g3 is the second best move. And queen g4 is third. But they're all winning. Okay, he played knight f5, which is not the best move, but still winning. Black played b5, which is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. The point of b5 is to stop bishop c4 check. Okay, now once again, the guy played a very human move that's not the engine move, proving he's not cheating. Okay, an engine plays bishop d3 here. Okay, a human plays bishop takes b5 because the queen's defending the bishop and here. And if you take this, it's mate in 2. So any human that's good would play bishop takes b5. But an engine wouldn't. Engine doesn't like bishop takes b5. But that's a very human move. Because you can't take the bishop and I take a pawn. You just play b5. Okay, cool. Okay, now Magnus played the engine move again. It's only the moves that I would suggest. Bishop f8. Okay, white played bishop c4 check. Once again, the engine says like e6 is better. It doesn't even like bishop c4 check very much. That's a very human move. Because now the bishop's hanging. So like e6 is a real computer move. Because the bishop's hanging. And before it wasn't hanging because your bishop was hanging. Now it is hanging. So e6 is a real computer move. Okay, and then bishop c4 check. And the engine gives two other bishop moves that are better than bishop c4 check. Bishop a4 and bishop d3. But this is a really human move. That's the humanist move. Now the engine wants to play rook takes c4. But if you're a grandmaster, you can resign if you're going to do that. Then white's up 2 pawns and mating you. So Magnus played king h8. And white played an excellent move that is the engine move, but I think it's easy to find. I'll let you try to find it.
Okay.
The white played a move here and Magnus resigned.
Let's see.
And before she let her think about her move, my decision, my judgment is no cheating. And Magnus just played horrible. And Magnus said, I don't think my opponent cheated. I'm not accusing him of anything, but I couldn't play well because I saw his watch. And it's true, Magnus did not play well. Magnus playing 97, 98, that's very passive. And the guy punished him for his bad play. Magnus played very badly this game. Magnus made many suboptimal moves, and 98 is just a terrible move. But I believe Magnus when he says, when he saw the guy's watch, like thoughts go through his head, and he says, I wonder if the guy's cheating. What's that?
Is it knight h6?
It is knight h6.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the guy's not cheating because you found it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so knight h6, and then Magnus resigned. Which was a good idea. Otherwise, you have to make a move.
I mean, that's not hard to find that.
Right. Okay, so I don't think the guy cheated at all. He only made one move, which I thought was like suspicious, and that was knight g5. But knight g5 is a very aggressive attacking move, which makes sense when your opponent plays knight e7, knight e8. Every other move he played either wasn't the engine move, or I thought it was relatively obvious. And he made several non-engine moves while he was winning. So I don't see anything in that game. And I thought I would. I thought I was gonna. Before I was biased, and I'm like, this guy crushed Magnus. This guy's 25-12. Very suspicious. Okay, that was my thinking. Then when I looked at the game, I was like, man, Magnus didn't play well. Magnus played badly. Okay, and Magnus will agree he played badly. He knows when he played badly. He's Magnus. He knows, you know. And he just said he played badly because the guy had a watch on. So then Nate Solon, the famous Twitter person, he said, next time I play Magnus, I'm going to come like this. He has a picture of a guy with his arms up, and he has 3 watches on each hand. So he's going to have 6 watches. So basically, there's nothing to see here. No cheating. Magnus played badly. And the main reason players rated 2,700 and above don't lose to people like me. This guy's better than me, but you see what I'm saying. Grandmasters who aren't, top 10 in the world, is because they don't play them. Back in the day, that's all that happened. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you were one of the top 10 players in the world, you played Rufus and Doofus all the time. And then what happened in the 90s was the top players got together and said, if we play Rufus and Doofus, we might lose and our rating will go down. Let's just play each other, then our ratings won't go down. And the organizers are happy because they have the top 10 players in the world. So it's very rare nowadays to see a 2,700 or a 2,800 play a 24, 2,500 FIDE because they don't want to. And this is why they don't want to, right? Who's the greatest player ever now? The guy who gets crushed by 2,500? Your answer is yes. Okay, and that's why Anand, for example, hates playing in the Olympiad. Because in the Olympiad, the first 4 or 5 rounds, Anand's playing Rufus and Doofus. Okay, and as you know, or maybe you don't. Many years ago in the Olympiad, when Anand was world champion, Anand missed some Olympiads because he didn't want to play people like me. He played Pascal Charbonneau for Canada. You heard of Pascal Charbonneau? No. He was married to Irina Krush.
Oh.
So anyway, he's a grandmaster. He's like my strength. He beat Anand in the Olympiad. Then there was another Olympiad. Magnus is losing to Michael Adams and losing to everybody else. And Nadich kept beating Magnus. So at some point, if you play in the Olympiad and all of your opponents are 200, 300 points lower than you, you have to beat all of them. And if you have some draws, your rating goes down. And the top players don't like to play when their rating goes down. So Magnus doesn't play 2500s. Magnus must win. Magnus has to go 10 out of 10 against this guy. If Magnus goes 9 out of 10, that's total demolition. If you beat somebody 9 out of 10, you're way better than them. Do you understand how much better you are? But if he gets 9 out of 10 against this guy, he loses rating points. Okay, so Magnus doesn't want to play this guy. This guy's low rated. But Magnus plays in some open tournaments sometimes, so he has to put up with these guys. And occasionally, people who, like I used to be this strength, sometimes we play well. Not too often, but sometimes. And Magnus played much worse than he normally would.
So wait a minute. So what happens, like, if queen, like, what's the defense here? If queen goes to e7?
The knight f7 check.
Right.
Yeah, the truth hurts.
And then he moved, yeah. So then I was just trying to see what the best.
I could play knight d6 check and take your rook.
Right, I was looking at that.
Yeah, now I'm up 2 pawns and I have the 2 bishops. And your position's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't missing some kind of
right. No, there's no mate. It's just
yeah.
I like the way the engine just moves the knight back and forth, like just having fun.
Yeah.
Then plays bishop b3 and says,
Oh,
your king's here. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So I don't even think Magnus thinks his opponent cheated. I think Magnus is upset that people are allowed to wear watches, and that made him feel in a certain way where he couldn't concentrate on the game because he was thinking about the guy's watch. And I will say, if the FIDE rule or the tournament rule is you can wear non-smart watches, that's a bad rule. They really shouldn't let you wear a watch because mechanical watches can have Bluetooth also, and you could easily use them to cheat if you were smart enough.
what kind of watch did he have on?
I don't know. It wasn't a smart watch.
Okay.
But I mean, to me, it's more egregious that there's people walking around the tournament room and they have smartphones on them. To me, that's worse. I mean, that way somebody can easily signal you when you're walking around or even not, like what move to make, especially since the games aren't being shown on a delay.
Anna showed an alt ending with smothered mate. Can't remember. Hey, frankly delicious. Yeah, it was very smothered mate-ish.
So White played a good game. White didn't play perfectly. White played good, and Magnus played a bad game. Magnus's moves were non-engine moves like every move. And I've seen Magnus play when he's in top form where he just plays all engine moves. And then I'm like, all right, guess he's going to win. But this game, he just played badly. And he had the black pieces. If you're going to play badly, make sure you have the white pieces.
Do you think Magnus is a sore loser, Ben, says Tom?
No. No, he was just wrong about Hans. And so this time he was a little more muted.
In general, he's a pretty good sport.
He's very fair.
But he's had a couple of blips, where he's not perfect.
He lets his opinion supersede those of others because he thinks his opinion's more important, which is hard to argue with. His opinion is more important. All right, so Magnus lost. I don't see any cheating at all, and Magnus played a very bad game, and Magnus will start playing good games and like that. Or Magnus will withdraw tomorrow, and we're going to make more videos. It's one of them. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Now, if Magnus does withdraw and go rawr and like that, it's not because of this guy. It's because he doesn't like the tournament rules where people can walk around with smartphones, people can wear watches, the games aren't being delayed. He could withdraw for that reason, but he's not going to withdraw because he lost to this guy. But of course, all of these issues could have been brought up before the tournament or after round one. Coincidentally, they came up after he lost. Take that for what you will.
Well, I mean, you can complain to the TD during the game.
He did.
Oh, we did?
He said, can my opponent have this watch on? The guy said, yeah.
Really?
The TD said you can have a regular watch on, but not a smartwatch.
Okay, so that answers the question.
He did complain during the game. Yeah.
About what kind of watch?
But I don't agree with that, with what the organizers are allowing. I don't think they should allow any watches. Because I think any watch, you can finagle it to, do stuff. If you're smart enough.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my opinion of that game. So now for YouTube views, there was tons of cheating and we need to investigate this for years. But in reality, no cheating and nothing happened. Okay, so now we're going to look at games I played in 1993. So somebody do a thing, a marker. Hey, there's a marker.
Yay.
Good job, Tensor Extension.
Thanks, Tensor.
I read the page paper on watches. Very interesting. Well, that's good. Okay, so this game I have black against the 2100 player. This guy recently or currently, he watches the stream sometimes. He's the president of the Canadian Chess Federation.
Yeah.
And he lives in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Although I don't know where he lives now.
What's his name on Twitch?
I don't know.
Oh, shit.
You all right? All right. So this was played in 93. I played my usual blocked, closed Benoni nonsense. Like I always do.
And these are games from what year?
93.
93, okay.
Okay, I played my usual... See, if Magnus had only put his knights like this, he probably would have won like I did. Okay, my opponent played G3. Now my knights can't go Vishwa nowhere. I castled. Bishop D2. Bishop D7. Queen E2. A6. Now my opponent made a controversial move. Yeah. Sort of like the controversy in Magnus's game. He played long castle.
Oh.
Okay, very controversial. Okay, so I played B5, which the engine recommends. He played Rook DG1, which the engine also recommends. I've never looked at this game with an engine now, so I don't know what it's going to say. I just like the end of the game. Okay, I played Queen A5. He always played King B1. So the engine likes the way he's playing and says white has a nice advantage. I played Rook F B8. Now the engine wants to play Knight D1 attacking my queen. Mm-hmm. He played the second engine move, King A1, getting off of my rook. I played Queen B6, which is the engine move, with the obvious threat.
Obvious threat.
Mm-hmm. What's my threat?
I don't know what the obvious threat is. I would, it didn't seem like a threat. I mean, I don't see a threat. I was going to go B4.
No, I could take on C4.
Yeah.
That attacks his bishop.
Right.
And it threatens queen takes pawn mate on B2.
Oh. That is a threat.
So he has to stop that. Okay, he played the engine move, bishop C1. So far, he's playing all engine moves, so probably he was cheating in 1993. Man, that's some bad cheating. Okay, obviously I'm kidding. I took, which is the engine move. He took back, which is not the engine move. The engine wants to play bishop B1. But he took back, proving he wasn't cheating. Okay, now I did the rigmarole. Okay, now watch this. You see this knight?
Yeah.
I put it here. Because I'm a grandmaster, although I wasn't a grandmaster in 93. Okay, so do you see the maneuver I can make to get my knight there?
To E4?
No, D4.
Oh, D4. Oh, so you had to maneuver it around. Let me see. Man, it's kind of tough to get over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting 2 squares away from your knight diagonally is always the toughest.
I mean, I guess you could go knight E8, knight C7, but then there's...
Right.
Oh, and then you could
knight
go
B5.
knight B5, yeah.
Right. Okay, so I played knight E8.
But there's stuff over there.
He played knight D2, not the engine move. I played knight C7. Now it says it's equal. He played queen d3, not the engine move. I played knight b5. Now the engine says this is equal. He played knight e2, which is okay. And I played knight f8. Always play knight f8. He played h4. That's why I played knight f8, so because I knew he was going to push his pawn. I played bishop e8. I want my knight to get over here. I want this knight to go over here now. He played h5. I played knight d7. Played bishop b3, which the engine doesn't like. And I played knight d4. Now if he takes my knight, I can take with either pawn, and then my knight has the square that's relinquished by giving my pawn away. I take with the c pawn and play knight c5. Probably. Okay, he played bishop a4. I played queen c7 because I want to play knight b6. And I want to play rook b4. The engine says black is slightly better. Played knight c4. That's the engine move. I played rook b4. He played b3. Engine doesn't like that. It wants me to sack the exchange. Always sack the exchange. Just a pure exchange sack.
Huh.
But I played knight b6. Bishop takes e8. Knight takes c4. And now he made a bad move. What he should do is play knight takes here. But he played bishop takes f7 check. King takes. B takes c4. And now after rook a b8, I have a big attack, but you can see his rooks. I mean, my attack is so strong, she's taking her clothes off. I mean, that's a strong attack.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, and she's like, man, whew, man, what an attack. Okay, so you can see how good my pieces are, but I had to sacrifice a pawn because he took the pawn on f7, but I don't care about that. I just want to checkmate him. Okay, now the engine says black is winning because my attack is too good. He played bishop e3. I played knight b3 check. The engine says rook b3 is also good. They're equally good. He played king b2. He can't take my knight because I play rook takes b3, threatening his queen and threatening rook a3 mate and queen a5 mate. So he played king b2. I played knight d2 check, winning his c4 pawn. Played rook b1, queen a5. And obviously I have a crushing attack. Now I'm threatening queen b2 mate with advantage. He played queen c3. I played knight takes. If he plays queen takes, what should I do in this position?
Knight c2.
Knight c2 check. So he didn't do that. He played fe. He can't play queen takes e3 because this is mate. And I played queen takes e4, winning a pawn and forking these two things. He checked me. I saw it. He played queen d2. I attacked his weak e-pawn with bishop g5. Not easy to defend. And by not easy, okay, so he played knight c3, wants to trade queens. I don't want to trade queens because I have a mating attack. Now I'm threatening his rook on f1. He played rook f5, attacking my bishop. And now I played my second favorite move of the game. My favorite move of the game is my last move.
Okay.
The last one I play in the game. But this is my second favorite.
So you want me to try to guess it?
You can guess, although it's not better than other moves. It's just my favorite.
Oh.
But you'll like it.
Well, go ahead then.
Okay, I played the move e4. Because I want to play bishop f6 and teach him a lesson here.
Oh, yeah.
And if he plays rook takes g5, which he did, so we can look at it. But if he doesn't play rook takes g5, I play bishop f6. Then you're in a lot of trouble. And he can't play e4 because I played e4. So he took. I play check. He has to play queen to d1. If he plays knight to d1, I check and take his rook. If he plays knight to b1, I mate him on b1, whichever way you want. So he has to play queen d1. And I play queen f6. Now I'm threatening checkmate. And I'm threatening his rook. So he played rook takes g7 check, getting a pawn for his rook. Takes. And he played queen e1, defending his knight. And this is where I played my favorite move of the game. Not the engine move, but it's my favorite.
All right. Let's see.
I'm surprised this isn't the engine move. Maybe the engine's not good enough. These are moves only I like. You won't even like it. You'll be like, why do you like that move? And you'll be mad. You'll be like, let's look at the Magnus game again. We concluded that Magnus did not cheat. Magnus didn't cheat. That's even funnier. We concluded no cheating. Magnus just played badly. You ready for my move? Because you're going to like it. I played H6.
Oh.
And now he's in Wang Chung.
I wasn't looking at that at all.
Right. I just made sure he couldn't move.
Yeah.
Now make a move for white. I dare you. I double dare you.
Yeah, it seems tough. What did they...
You can't move your A pawn because I'll play Rook B3. You can't legally move this or this or this or this. G4 just hangs the pawn. If you move your queen, which you have to stay on your knight, then I can win this pawn. Let me see if I go back if H6 is the best move now. What? It still isn't?
What is the engine like the best?
It just plays Queen E5 or King F8. King F8. That's like H6, but H6 is better. So he resigned here. But E4 was the best move of the game probably in this position. Because I see that I can check and play queen here, forking.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Yeah. Luckily, it doesn't matter because I'm winning anyway. H6 demoralizes the opponent.
Yeah. What's everybody doing? Let's see. Hey, Ponarichi. Trying to learn.
Magnus played H6. We looked at Magnus's game long ago. We'll never look at it again until you watch the YouTube video.
No, I can't go back.
Okay, next game. Okay, this is one of my favorite games I've ever played. And this was in the last round of the 1993 US Open, which coincidentally was at the same site as the 1993 World Open. So they didn't get a lot of players, but there were a lot of strong players. And I had 6.5 out of 8. This is round 9, and I got a very easy pairing. The other pairings were all grandmasters playing each other, and I got to play an IM who's like sort of an iffy IM. Mikhail Zlotnikov. Sounds good, right? On paper, Mikhail Zlotnikov sounds like a crusher. Okay, so I had black. This is like at my peak of my USCF rating. I was like 2650. Okay, so we played a ready. We were ready for that. Boring. Okay, so you can't get more boring than that. We won the boring prize. It's sort of like my last game because nothing was traded. Okay, now I played E5, the first exciting move of the game. The engine already says black is slightly better. He took on D5. I took with the pawn, which is correct according to the engine. And he played E4. Now, it actually looks like a reversed Ruy Lopez. Like he's playing the Ruy Lopez with black. Okay, I played knight B6. Because if he takes my pawn, I want to take with this knight. And probably won't take my pawn. He played H3, but I saw it. I played bishop here. He played rook E1. And now the main point of knight B6 was to play A5. So I can play A4 and tickle him. Okay, he played A3. And then I attacked his pawn with queen E7. And he made the losing move. So the engine says this position's equal. But he played for a trick. Okay, and his trick backfired, which is good because I was his opponent. Okay, and that guy says free Palestine. I was going to pay for it, but if it's free, I'll take it. There's a Family Guy episode where there's a guy on the street holding a sign that says free Tibet.
Yeah.
And Peter calls China and says, hello, China. I think I got something you want. You know, it's free. It's free Tibet.
It was.
All right. Okay, so in this position, white should play either e takes d5 or d4. But my opponent blundered playing the losing move. Right, Karen? He played knight b1, defending his pawn. Notice that it undefends his e-pawn. He was hoping I would take that free pawn. right? So I did. Then he unleashed the move he thought maybe I missed. I don't know what he thought. What move can white play that's a good tactic? It doesn't work, but at least he's trying.
Let's see.
So he sacrificed his e-pawn. Now he's going to play his tactical trick. But this was 1993 when I was good, so you couldn't do this bad stuff against me.
Let's see.
So I have a funny story about this guy. Several years after this game, at least 10, I played him in Foxwoods in the last round when neither one of us could win any money. And I was slightly better with white out of the opening. Then I was clearly better. Then I won a pawn. Then I won a pawn-up double rook endgame with good technique. The game went like 65 moves. When the game ended, he said, I was completely winning. So I said, I agree. The Czech grandmaster Jan Placheka taught me that, to say I agree when a guy says he's completely winning. He had no comeback to that. I looked at the game with an engine and said I was always better or winning. So, but I agreed with him. He has a double attack.
I mean, I'm looking at the 95. But
that's too tricky.
Yeah. Go ahead then.
He played bishop b5, which attacks my knight.
Okay.
And attacks my rook.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why he thought I couldn't play knight takes e4. But this is when I was good. So I saw all tactics. I was like those little kids now. Okay, so I played knight g5, sacrificing the exchange, but I destroy his king. So now he can't take my rook, but if he doesn't take my rook, he looks pretty silly. He should play something like knight bd2 or bishop e2 and just be down a pawn and losing. But, you know, he played this to take my rook. So took my rook. I played bishop takes. I want to keep my knight. He took back. I played knight h3 check, and I'm coming to checkmate him. So you don't want to play king g2 because I have knight f4 check. You don't want to play your king to the h file because I have queen h4. So he played king f1. I played queen h4, threatening checkmate with advantage. He played rook e2, and I played knight f4, threatening checkmate.
Again.
Right. How did he stop checkmate?
King e1.
Correct. Now I play one of my favorite moves ever. And it's the engine move. If it wasn't the engine move, it would still be one of my favorite moves. But it is the engine move, so now it goes even higher. This is one of the 5 best moves I've ever played. And the obvious move is the second best move. First, you have to say what the obvious move is.
Just a second. Just let me look at it.
Mm-hmm. Knight to g1 would be one of the top moves. Oh, you change it to knight g2. I like knight g1 better. That's funnier. My opponent's a good player because he's setting up for the next game.
Oh, you got that rook there.
I won a lot of money for this game, too. This was the U.S. Open last round. I ended up tying for second with 7.5 out of 9. So I think I won 2,000. And this was like in 1993. 2,000, that's like 10 billion now.
Oh, you got the rook. I think it's knight g2.
Knight g2, then king here.
Then I thought you could go... Oh, I didn't see about the rook blocking. I was going to say queen f4. But I guess he could...
I mean, I'm sure that that's winning.
Yeah.
The obvious move is to take the bishop.
Oh,
which is winning.
I thought you had a mating attack.
I do. I played a better move that has a mating attack.
Okay.
I played rook d8. Yeah, moving towards his bishop. That's funnier. Because this is the only square his king can go to.
Right.
So now if it's my move, I play bishop b4 check and pre-move queen h1 mate. Because my rook is defending d2. So I'm threatening bishop check and mate.
Yeah, I see that. Nice. I was looking at
It's very hard to defend rook d8. Okay, he played knight c3. That stops bishop b4 check. What did I always play?
I don't know.
Always play?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's one of my sayings. Always play what? I'm black.
Oh, bishop f8.
Always play bishop f8. Now I'm attacking his queen, and I'm threatening mate.
Yeah.
Okay, so he took, and now I played a good move, and it wasn't queen takes queen. My move's better than queen takes queen. Yeah, the engine says my move's better. Man, this is when I was sharp. These are the good old days.
Let's see if you can check.
Always play bishop f8. Look at the big brain on Bonarici.
Darn, I'm not real sure.
There's only one move you can play that's not queen takes queen. You suggested it earlier.
I mean, the knight check.
Right, knight check is better than queen takes queen. If knight check, if he plays king g f1, then queen h1's mate. If he plays here, then queen here's mate.
Right.
And if he plays his king to the d file, I take his queen with check. Then I can win his bishop.
Oh, okay.
So he played king d2 and I took with check. Then he resigned. And then I won like $2,000. That was a lot of money in 1993. Yeah. Yay. It says World Open, but it was the US Open, but it was at the same site, so people, they didn't know.
Yeah.
Now it's a Target.
That is a good game.
That's one of my favorite games because I did it in the last round for a lot of money with black.
How do you say the guy's name?
Mikhail Zlotnikov.
Mikhail Zlotnikov.
When he was born, he was old. He's one of these old Russians, but he's always an old Russian, even when he was like 10. I don't know how he did it. Okay, next game. This game was played in the World Open a month before the other game. This game's very quick. Okay, now, when you guys read chess books and you look at brilliant games, somebody sacks all their pieces and they win, and everybody goes, ooh. Okay, this game is the opposite. Okay, this is opposite day. This guy's 2,200 something. Okay, he played the Benko Gambit, and I played the line I usually play, which is f3. Although I take first, then I play f3. This is the line I played in the 90s a lot. He played e6, which is the aggressive move. I played e4, and now his phone rang, which was not illegal in 93. And he answered it, and it was Fox News, and they asked him if he wanted to get a job there. And when he said yes, then we knew he was crazy as like Fox News. Are you ready for the move he played here? He played a novelty here.
Okay.
You ready for this move?
Sure.
Bam! Okay, that move's no good. But, you know, what are you going to do? Then Fox News said, you're fired. No, they hired him extra. They paid him extra after that move. Okay, so I took, and he checked me. So obviously, if I play g3, he plays king, queen takes.
Right.
See here, I think my move is better than the engine move. That says they're tied. It says I can play king here or king here. I just thought it was funny to play king here because he takes with check. Because I want my king on f2, not on d2. But they both win. But yeah, king e2 is better according to the engine. That's what I did. Okay, then he took with check, and I played king f2. And that's sort of like the end of his checks. Now I just one piece up.
Right.
So he sacked a piece for a couple checks. Okay, he played bishop e7, which funnily enough is the engine move. Knight f3, check, g3, knight c3, bishop b7, c4, queen g6, bishop d3, bishop f4, and he resigned. Because he's down a piece for nothing.
So
that was a fun game.
So when all that happened, like you saw all that and weren't concerned.
When he took on e4, well, I know the position's theory, and knight takes e4 is not a move.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, he sacks a piece, he checks me a couple times.
That seemed like a weird move.
Yeah, he gets a couple checks. Yeah. No, that's a very low-rated player move. Knight takes and queen h4 check. He's 2260 FIDE, so that's very embarrassing for him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, here, like, I'm better and I'm a piece up. So he resigned.
That game is awful, says Bonarici.
Yeah, but I liked it.
That's a weird sack, but that's the kind of
I never had a guy sack with such no compensation. Yeah, the engine's like, what kind of move is that?
Those are the kind of moves Archer used to like.
Yeah, knight takes e4. He gave me a couple of checks, and then that was it. He actually played bishop e7 check. That went back.
Hey, Dunkel. How's it going?
Okay, last game but not least. This is played in the U.S. Open in '93 in round 1. The funny thing about this game is this is the U.S. Open where I beat Zlotnikov in the last round, the game that I showed you previous to the Seltzer game, and where I got 7.5 out of 9. The reason I got 7.5 out of 9 was I drew Kaidanov and I lost to Benjamin, and then I won my other 7 games. This was my first game where I was actually losing. And if he had made the right move in one position, I would have lost. And this guy's rated like 1900 USCF. And I had the black pieces.
Sorry.
Okay, so we played Accelerated Dragon, I think. Or no, we didn't play an Accelerated Dragon. We played a Rouser. Yeah, I know this. I used to play Bishop E7, now I play A6. But I used to play Bishop E7 every game.
Yeah, why'd you change?
I don't know, I like A6 more. Probably Bishop E7 is better. Okay, this is all theory. I've played this before. King B1, Kaidanov played against me in the U.S. Championship. Okay, I played H6. Now he made a bad move. Now he made a low-rated player's move. The high-rated player's move is just H4. And then if I take, he plays HG, and my king is not so good. Okay, he played bishop takes F6, going into a slightly worse endgame. Queen back. I could just take this and have a slight advantage, but I played rook D8. He played knight D5. Yeah, rook D8 is probably not good because knight D5 equalizes. I took his queen. He took a check. And we got to this equal endgame. Okay, but I have to win because he's 1900. It's round 1. You know, this is like an easy opponent in first round. But I was never winning until I was. Okay, E5, not a computer move, but I have to try to win somehow.
So when you took with the pawn, instead of, why is that better than taking with the bishop? Because he's.
It's not. The engine says bishop takes is better.
Oh, okay. Because I would have liked that.
I don't like bishop takes, but the engine says bishop takes is better. So you're right. Okay, E5 is not great. He took, which is bad. He should play F5. Okay, now he's going to play rook here check. So I played rook D7. Okay, now I went crazy, but the engine says what I did was right. This is a draw, no matter what I do. But I played for the win, because low rate. I played here. And now in this position, the engine says bishop takes bishop is a draw and rook and pawn in game. But I played the move D5, because I have to win. So I'm down a pawn, but I have 2 connected pass pawns in the center. So interesting, indeed. Okay, he played rook C5, attacking my pawns. I played king D6. Now he's up 2 pawns. I played E4. He played bishop H5. I played D4. So there's 5 passed pawns on the board. What else? But, okay, if I was playing another Grandmaster, I wouldn't play so willy-nilly, but I'm playing a 1900, I have to win, I can't draw. So, I went a little crazy. He played f6, always play f6. I played e3 check. If his king goes to e2 or d3, I have bishop a6. So he went back to e1. The engine that says bishop takes g2 is equal. Okay, I played bishop d5, which is a bad move. Played b4, and now I made several question mark move. Okay, it's the engine says d3 is a draw with correct play. I'm guessing he wouldn't have played correctly, so I probably would have won if I played d3. I did win, but here I made the losing move. Rook a7. Okay, white to play and win. Go, Karen. I didn't see it. My opponent didn't see it. I saw it after I moved. Then I sat there until he didn't see it.
Let's see.
Now, the chat's all crazy. There's no chess in the chat, just talking about nonsense.
White to play and it's a winning move.
Mm-hmm. If he had played this move, he would have won. There's nothing I can do. I couldn't come back after this. I would have just lost in the first round. Instead, I tied for second. Yay. Go, opponent.
I don't know.
Right now, the engine says that white's plus 34 if he plays the move. Man, it's hard to come back from.
Yeah.
Bonarici's answer is shallow and pedantic, except for the Papa John's part.
Let's see if I take there. Oh, yeah, because you've got that bishop. I think it's rook d5.
Rook d5 is winning, right?
Yeah.
He played rook a5, which is a draw. Rook d5, king d5.
Right, and then you go f7.
f7, and then if rook a8.
Then you got bishop f3.
Very good. Yeah, and then I would have lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he played rook takes, I would have lost. Yeah,
Yay,
but I didn't see it until after I moved, and he never saw it. So he played, and the other winning move is rook b6 check. That also wins. And otherwise, he's not winning. Other moves that he can play do not win.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Okay, he played rook a5. I took and played d3. Ooh, scary looking, right? Mm-hmm. But this is still a draw if he plays accurately. Okay, so here he made the losing move. He should play either king d1 or f7. Those are the two drawing moves. He played a6. And now I'm winning. I have one move that wins.
Let's see. He went A6.
And I have one move that wins.
Um.
And I found it. Yay. I wasn't old then. 5,000 passed pawns. What else?
Let me just look for a second. Can go back.
All right, we need 1,000 subs. Who's going to give 1,000 subs? This stream has been weak, but the YouTube views will be good for the Magnus part.
Go there.
Yay, Minkle Moment gave a sub. Go Minkle Moment. This one's too hard for the viewers.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was looking at D2.
Okay, if you play D2, then I play King E2, and then I can take your pawn next move. King E2, and this pawn's weak.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. See, if you play D2 and he plays King D1, then you play bishop check, king here, and you queen. So D2 is good if he has to play King D1. But if he can play King E2, then D2 is not good. Therefore, I played.
Bishop C4.
Correct. That's the only winning move.
I wasn't going to find that.
Right. So that attacks his pawn, so I take it for free.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. If it's my move, I play D2 check, king here, bishop check, and queen. So you have to stop that. So he played the best move. King D1. That stops it. So the idea is if I check now, he can play king C1. Okay. So I played bishop takes A6. Played F7. I played king E7. Now I'm winning because A pawn's not dangerous now. Yeah, now I just play bishop here and D2 and I win. Yeah, and this was a nice touch in this position. Like several things win, but I played bishop B3 and I said it's your move. And he can't move. If he moves his bishop here, then I queen. If he moves his bishop here, then this pawn's hanging. I can take his pawn. If this pawn moves, I take it. And if his king moves, I queen. So bishop E3 puts him in Zugzwang. He can't move. If he plays G4, then I queen because his bishop is blocked. So after bishop B3, he resigned, which was correct.
Nice. That's a good game.
Yeah, it would have been better if he had taken my bishop and beaten me. Then I wouldn't have this good story, bishop C4.
Thanks for the sub, Felix Frias.
I would have lost the first round. Very embarrassing. What am I,
Go
Magnus?
Ben, what happened with Magnus? Drama alert?
Yay, Felix Frias.
Go
As
Ben
Karen said,
and
thanks.
Go Hans. Yeah, Hans is doing pretty well.
Yeah, let me see what happened in the U.S. Championship because I stopped watching at some point. Let's see.
I didn't see it today. I was too busy doing poker stuff. Minkle Moment, thank you for the gift sub. I missed that one. Ben might have said thanks.
Okay, so Caruana held the draw against Robson. Robson was pressing for a win. Okay, and then Neiman is still playing. This game is still going on.
It is?
It was very similar to this position when we came down.
They're still going on?
Still going on. And they started at 2 o'clock our time, so 6 hours. Yeah, it should be a draw.
Yeah, I wonder if they're friends anymore. Does anybody know the gossip?
That game was a draw. All draws again. Wow.
Tang cut ties with Neiman back when he got caught cheating online, I believe.
Yesterday, every game was a draw. And today, every game's a draw. And then this game's still going on. if Tang blunders and Hans wins, Hans is tied for first with Fabi.
Wow. They're no longer friends. That's still true.
Yeah, but according to Hans, everybody's an enemy and so forth.
Do you remember those ping pong streams? At least one. The two of them played ping pong. Or, yeah, table tennis. The H file is cut off on the stream.
Oh, yeah, that's because I don't have events fixed. Man, that's too bad. I used to be friends with Andrew Tang, too, and we were playing ping pong once, and I offered him some orange juice, and he got furious and left.
I get it. They're not even old enough.
Yeah, some of them are. Like, trying to learn is.
Hans said, hey, Lawful Waffle, Hans said he hates Tang's hair. It's getting real crazy. He really said that? I know Tang, says Minkle Moment.
Hey, they drew. They just drew.
Oh, okay.
They must have repeated because you're not allowed to agree to a draw. It says E6 is winning in this position, like 5 moves ago. Then if bishop takes, rook here, this is winning? Yeah, maybe. Now it says plus 1.4, so that's not clear. But E6 gave winning chances. The idea is if you take with a rook, I play bishop C3 and rook here mate.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, then he blocked it, and then he never let the blockade go. This says bishop B4 draw. That must have been, they must have had this position 3 times because you're not allowed to draw. Black must have been claiming a draw, and then they went back on the score sheet and looked at it.
Your grandpa used to love Tang, J.D. Kaplan says. I always thought it tasted weird. Yeah, it was no good. Extra Cheese project got modded by Nightbot for saying boomer. Tang is some boomer space race powder juice drink for the Zoomers in chat. I agree. You should.
How can something be for boomers and Zoomers? What?
He's saying the information is for the Zoomers that he's given about the powder drink.
This wasn't repeated 3 times. I don't understand how it was a draw.
Sorry you got modded, Extra Cheese.
King G6.
Nightbot's a little bit strict.
I don't remember the bishop ever being on B4. I don't understand how this game ended in a draw. Bishop B4.
Yeah, Tang was horrible. You guess they got bored?
You're not allowed to offer agree. You can't agree to a draw. I wonder if the game wasn't drawn. It just says it is. I don't know.
I mean, can't be that. Can't be.
Probably the score's wrong because they have to be a repetition to be a draw.
Tang claimed it. Blind puffin.
Right. Well, this position's not 3 times.
Bye, Ebola 16. See you.
So every game in the U.S. Championship yesterday was drawn. Every game today was drawn.
You still drink Tang, Bonarici?
And Magnus just got crushed. So.
Horrible.
So Magnus's opponent not cheating. But probably the rules of the tournament should change. Like no delay on the games. Watches are okay. People walking around with cell phones. It doesn't sound right. Sounds like there should be some stricter measures.
Did he complain to him about the phone usage?
No, I think just the fact that his opponent had a watch on. All right, who should we raid?
Let's see.
How about it's betting? Oh, that's us.
They're still. St. Louis is still going?
Yeah, they're probably ending soon.
Yeah, they're probably ending. I would say.
Although there could be a women's game going on. Let me see. Then they won't leave.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, we could raid them if they're still doing
only
the women's tournament.
Going. Otherwise, we have other people. Nemo's not doing chess.
Yeah, Crush is playing a Schwaron.
Well, I mean, I guess it could go for a bit. Well, I would say either Mari chess or.
Yeah, you tell me. Don't say
St.
either.
Louis.
You pick one.
Let's just go for Mari chess, just because I think they're going to end soon here.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, guys.
Man, Crush was winning this game. Now she's going to draw.
See you. Go Crush.
Mm-hmm. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.